Well, hello everybody. I love what our own Kayla Johnson said in her daily devotional from 1 John chapter 5. She got out of that, God's testimony is greater than our own. Jesus is this testimony, and we see this in water, blood, and spirit. We have been given eternal life through Jesus, and through this we have our own story and testimony. But the testimony of Jesus is greater and sufficient. I love what she got out of there. With our story being without God, we have that kind of Peter Parker underdog. Nothing's really going to happen in our life, regardless of how famous, rich, amazing, how big our reputation is. That story, in reality, in the universe we live in that God created, in the grand scheme of things, is tiny and insignificant apart from Him entering our lives and making it supernatural, making it significant, and bringing us into the story that we're meant to be a part of. And Jesus' story, this narrative, is found in the water, the blood, and the spirit. I also listened to John Gordon today on a podcast, who's a guy who travels and talks to all the NFL teams. Like, if you're an athlete, you've probably had some sort of chapel or talk with John Gordon speaking into your life. And he talked about how everybody can resonate with this whole good versus evil narrative being the narrative of the universe. But here in 1 John chapter 5, we're seeing that Jesus is the narrative of the universe. It's not just Jesus good versus evil bad, or evil Satan, or evil sin. Nothing can have any victory over Jesus. Only He has victory, and He proves that in the water, symbolizing of His death and resurrection. In the blood, His real, actual death and resurrection. And in the spirit, where He gives us, those who believe, and who He changes the life of, and He makes Peter Parker into Spider-Man kind of thing, where we are brought into a new story and given the significance and the real story we're meant to be a part of. We're given that same spirit that raised Him from the dead and resurrected Him. That the narrative of the universe in this wacky, absolutely vulnerable, weak state of our world even today that we're in, it's not good versus evil being the narrative. It is Jesus alone being the narrative. Love you.